Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand morning show. It is the day after the night before and honestly I'm still very annoyed. I'm still fuming. I've got a lot of things I want to get into this morning. We've got, as you can see on the thumbnail, is it time to go for some of these players that are just proving time and time again that they're just not good enough to play for Man United. What I really don't want to do this morning is I don't want to have a conversation, well Beth, they played well in this game. Like a couple of weeks ago, they played well in this game a couple of months ago. When you're playing for Man United, you need to show up every single week, and some players just aren't fit enough to play for Manchester United, and that's just the way it is. And we're going to discuss that and discuss where the standards are at and what we really need to do in the summer regarding taking this squad to the next level. Also, a little bit of Hojlund news coming out, a striker from Atalanta that we spoke about before, a little bit of a transfer boost that we'll get into, some interesting quotes from Erik ten Hag that we're going to break down, and overall, we're just going to also be previewing the Brighton game because it's right round the corner on Sunday, and I think a lot of people are worried about this game, but I'm actually positive for the Brighton game, to be honest with you, because I've seen this team not show up before, and then the next game suddenly they show up, and that's just not good enough when you play for Man United. But it's what it is. We need to get into this and we need to discuss everything, but get your comments in down below. Good morning everyone, and yeah, you know, last night, let's get into it straight away. Let's talk about it. Before I move on to anything else, I just want to say, last night for me, it was, I've got to first of all give Sevilla credit, because Sevilla went there. It was a home crowd. They have 12 men on the pitch with the home crowd behind them. But that team, I think the average age of that team was 34, 35. I think there was only one player that was under the age of 30. They looked fitter than us. They looked sharper than us. They looked more aggressive than us. They looked hungrier than us. And they just looked like they wanted it more than us, just like Erik ten Hag said. And when you're in Europe and playing for Man United, that just is not acceptable. It's not acceptable. And the only person, like I said, that can leave that pitch with a head held high is Antony, potentially even Lindelof. I didn't think Lindelof did anything too wrong, but yeah, then again, I'm yet to watch it back. Antony won the most tackles for Man United, right winger, winning the most tackles for us, and he also created the most chances. He was the only one that looked like he gave something, that looked like he cared. And honestly, it was really sad to see. And how many times are we going to do this? We're going to go through, we're going to have these games where we think, yes, we played really well today, you know, we're playing really well, Erik ten Hag, we've got Man United back now, and Erik ten Hag has done a brilliant job this season, but we still have this thing in us where every so often, in a big game, we don't turn up. And I don't think it's that we don't turn up. I think we get there, and it's usually away performances, let's be honest, it's away performances. The crowd's on our back, there's a little bit of adversity, something goes wrong early doors, and the team just cannot recover from it. The heads drop, it goes, the bottle goes. And you can't play for Man United if you don't have the bottle to play these games. Like, if that was, for example, if that was a Real Madrid or a Manchester City last night, and that's the level we need to be aiming for, do you think one goal down, suddenly everything goes to pot? Because that was a mistake for the first goal, but do you think everything goes to pot? I've seen Real Madrid come back against Manchester City, which are the best, I think, the best footballing team in Europe, like playing football. I've seen them come back from so many different occasions. They are the comeback kings, literally. I mean, any other top team in that situation, I think, you know what, they're going to go on and they're going to score another goal. They're going to score a goal here. And we didn't create any chances. Our defence was horrible. I mean, the team altogether was just shocking. Like, I'm not blaming one part of the team. It was a shocker. So we're going to have to get into it and ask why this has happened. Is it just too many mediocre players? Can we not handle it when a couple of our best players are out? We need to sort this out, and I think it's time to let go of the players that just can't cut it. But let's get into it anyway. I've started off on a real kind of, you know, I'm annoyed. I'm really annoyed because it keeps happening and it's frustrating, especially when fans have travelled all the way there to go and watch that. And that's what you give. It's frustrating. Grant Williams, can you imagine what Varane, Bruno Martinez were thinking watching that last night? I was thinking that. Honestly, could you imagine what you were thinking? I'd be so frustrated. They've played, you know, in these games against Barcelona. They've given everything. And to just for certain individuals, well, not individuals, but for the team, but certain individuals cost us last night. To go out there and throw it away and act like it's nothing. Genuinely, and they've worked so hard all season for that. I feel sorry for them, I really do. Zayn Miasi, don't worry, we will win the league and stop City getting the treble. I hope you do, Zayn, but I just can't see it happening. And oh my gosh, there is actually people in the chat that are still saying I'm wrong about David De Gea. If you don't see it now, then you know I worry for your eyesight. I worry for your bias. I worry for your delusion. I worry for your footballing opinion. Everyone is entitled to it, but wow, that is the reason we won't. If you want things like this to stop happening, it's one of the reasons is accepting mediocrity and not knowing when it's time to move on. So, you know, we're gonna get into that. MUFC Music, welcome to the United Stand Members Club. And yeah, you know, say to me about, you know, oh God, there's people in the chat saying I'm wrong about De Gea. Okay, you think that, but I'm not. I'm not wrong about De Gea, but we'll get into it. Anyway, let's get started on, we were talking about discussing Maguire potentially needing to go, and that's the first name I really want to bring up. Obviously last night, that situation, we've seen the pass. I said on the fan forum, I thought it was partly De Gea's fault. I thought it was partly Maguire's fault. I've watched it back this morning. I've watched it back multiple times. And to be honest with you, should Maguire be calling for the ball in that situation? Probably not. Probably he shouldn't be. And he should be more aware of his surroundings. Should Maguire choose to play that pass the way he did into Sevilla players? No, he shouldn't have done. And this is why I'm giving Maguire some fault for that as well. But the pass he receives is bobbling at a really slow pace. It puts him under pressure. He doesn't have time to get the ball and turn with it because of how slow the pass is coming to him. And De Gea should never be playing that pass in that situation. I've already explained that. I explained that on the fan forum last night. When you're looking across the whole pitch and you see what you've got in front of you, it's never the right option. And then people will say to me, well, Beth, that's how Eric Ten Hag wants to play. He wants to play out from the back. And I say, yes, that's why we need a modern goalkeeper that is able to do it. And he's not going to cost us in big moments, because that really did put us under pressure. And, you know, if Eric Ten Hag wants to play like that, we need to have players that can do it. Maguire can't do it. De Gea can't do it. So, you know, these things definitely need to be looked at. James Swishbank says, woke up at 4:30 to watch that shite. Why is every loss so utterly chaotic? Why can't we lose with some fight at the very least? And, yeah, honestly, that's what I really wanted to kind of talk about. If we lost last night, you know, if we've lost but we've played a really good game, we've given everything, I understand it. Like, I'm here and I'm like, wow, that we were really unlucky last night, but the lads, they give everything. Like, you can't ask for any more. But that's not the way we lost. And I hate that. I really dislike losing when you know you've not given everything. Because I'm going to be honest, if that Man United team does give everything yesterday and does set the standards like Eric Ten Hag says, we don't lose that game. We don't. We're better than Sevilla. Even that team last night, with certain really important individuals missing, is better than Sevilla. Yeah, we lost. We lost in a really poor fashion as well. Jack Treat says your bias is ruining your presenting. Stay neutral. I mean, it's all about opinions, and that's what we're on the show for. I mean, we're on the show to give our opinions. You guys can have your opinions, and I have my opinions on things, and you guys have yours, and you're entitled to them. It's just the way it is, and we are going to discuss it, especially after what happened last night. JT says, if we want an actual clear out, getting rid of whoever isn't good enough, we need to get new owners. The Glazers have made mediocrity the norm, and it needs change. No, we definitely 100% need new owners. We've talked about that multiple times on the show. I think that is going to happen. I really do. I agree with Mark in the sense that I do think the minority investment is a little bit of a PR spin, and I think we will get new investment. We will get new owners. I think that is going to happen. It's just the amount of time. But the deadline is coming up, 28th of April. So let's wait and see on that one. And yes, we'll talk about it a little bit more. And again, Ten Hag has actually come out and backed De Gea. Laurie Whitwell, Ten Hag said last night, Ten Hag on De Gea being #1 next season and beyond. He's the only one with the most clean sheets in the Premier League, and that shows he's a very capable keeper. This quote, to be honest, I don't know how to read into it. A lot of, you know, people were sending me this last night and saying, Beth, I'm really worried that this means, you know, De Gea is going to be the long-term keeper under Eric Ten Hag, and this is going to be the way it progresses. And then a lot of people, like, you know, some of you guys in the chat who want that to happen, are going to be happy about this sort of quote. For me personally, Eric Ten Hag is never going to come out and say he's not happy with a player he has to rely on until the end of the season. It's just never going to happen. So realistically, we don't actually know what Erik ten Hag is thinking, to be honest with you. We'll only know when it gets to the summer and we see what his targets are in the summer and we see where it goes. With De Gea's contract, he could be giving him a new contract because he wants him to stay as long-term number one goalkeeper. That could be the case. Or he could be giving him a new contract that's got a big wage deduction because he might want to bring somebody else in, but he wants him there because he is a legend of the club. I'm not denying that. He is. He is a legend of the club, and I think he's a legend of the club. And, you know, he's been here for multiple years and he wants that in the dressing room. Like, you don't know which way Erik ten Hag's thinking about it. Mikel Arteta, in the year he got rid of Leno, in that summer when he got rid of Leno, was backing Leno in the press conferences week in, week out. And I mean, there's quotes from Arteta saying that Leno belongs here, and in the summer he got rid of him. So, you know, a manager that is wise, he's never going to come out and discredit a player in the press that he needs to rely on. It's just not going to happen, and it's not the right way to go about things anyway. It shouldn't be happening. And, you know, De Gea is a capable goalkeeper. He is. He doesn't suit the way Erik ten Hag wants to play, and we won't move forward with him in goal. I've said it multiple times. Let's see what happens in the summer. I think we will go for a goalkeeper. I really do. I think we will. We've been linked to one for quite a while. We'll just have to see what happens. And It's Joey says, Beth, you must be off your head if you don't think he's a brilliant shot stopper. Keepers make mistakes. You never say anything when he's in form. I talk about De Gea quite regularly on here, if I'm being honest with you. I've been very consistent in my opinion, but yeah, brilliant shot stopper. I think De Gea is an excellent shot stopper. But in the modern game at the top level, you need multiple strings to your bow. You do, in my opinion. MUFC Music says, any players who have the chance to save themselves have now proved me right. And James Cave says, morning Beth, such a clear difference when Bruno and Martinez are showing their infectious passion on the pitch. Too many passengers without them. Absolutely. The difference, again, between Maguire and Lindelof and Martinez and Varane is night and day. You know, Varane and Martinez, you see the back four, they're all high-fiving challenges, the fist pump in the air, you know, the aggression's there. You don't see anything like that last night. There's a difference between the top level of leadership and passion and players that know what it takes to win trophies to what we had out there last night. And it's very, very true. It's very, very true. And yeah, I mean, we were going to talk about if we think Maguire is going to stay at the club because, you know, there's a lot of talk that Maguire might stay in the summer. I think we had a poll ready to go on whether we think Maguire should stay, and a lot of you guys will think I'm just scapegoating De Gea, but I'm not. There was 10 players on that pitch last night. There was 10 players on that pitch, and there was poor performances all round. But there's some players that had poor performances, and I think to myself, I know they are Man United players. Casemiro had a shocker last night. He had a shocker. One of the worst performances I've ever seen him play for Manchester United. But do I believe he's a Man United player and I think he's a brilliant player? Of course I do, because he's proved it week in, week out. Eriksen last night had a shocker. Do I think he's a good player? Yeah, absolutely. There were certain players last night that really didn't have a good game, but I know that there's a good player in there and that they're capable of playing for Man United. The thing is, when it comes to Maguire is, at the end of the day, he cost 80 million to Manchester United. And we talk about price tag not being a player's fault, so we talk about the 80 million and we disregard that. He's club captain, and he is club captain, and he's been speaking in the press numerous times saying he doesn't have to prove himself now. He's club captain of Manchester United. He hasn't lost since the first couple of weeks of the season. You know, just kind of putting himself out there and bigging himself up in the press. We've seen it, and I actually said when Varane and Martinez get injured, well, I really want Maguire now to step up and prove himself. It's such a good opportunity for him to do that. If that's you know, if he thinks he can play for Man United, which a lot of the fan base don't, I always want my players to do well no matter who they are. I was desperate for Maguire to have a couple of really good performances. Obviously, I wanted that to happen. I wanted us to get through against Sevilla. You know, we wanted to kind of go on and win what we needed to win this season. But unfortunately, after all of that talk, Nottingham Forest, horrible performance. Horrible. Kept a clean sheet, fair enough. But his individual performance was really, really, really poor. Really super poor. I mean, I won't go into the Nottingham Forest performance, but I think a lot of us know here that it was super poor. To the point where I really wanted Lindelof and Shaw to play together for last night's game. Shaw just must not have been fit enough, or else I assumed he would have come in. And then last night, it was another shocker. And not only was his individual performance not very good, because it wasn't, you are the captain, so you take on that extra little bit of responsibility. And with the extra little bit of responsibility, you need to be leading the team, you need to be leading your back line, and you need to be a cohesive unit, and you need to go there and fight for everything. Last night, I saw a team that had no idea they looked like they didn't, know who to pass to, what position they needed to be in. It was extremely, extremely it was frantic. Passes were going all over the shop. It was sloppy. When we got the ball, it looked like a hot potato half the time. The amount of sloppy passes was ridiculous. And to me, that's a sense of fear, because the home crowd's on your back, it's getting to you. And it's a sense of players on that pitch just not being told, come on guys, we're still in this game, we are 1-0 down, we're still in this game, we've got everything it takes to go on and score, this is how we're going to do it. Bruno, when he's on the pitch, he's like pointing at players, he's telling them what to do, he's communicating. As I've said, he can speak multiple different languages, and he shows up in these games. Whether you hate or like Bruno Fernandes, he shows up in these games, and he holds players accountable. Last night, it was a nightmare. There was no leadership on that pitch. I expected with Casemiro, actually, that he would step up, and I'm not sure. I think Casemiro he's had a little bit of a struggle coming back from these cards. I don't know if he's just so worried about getting another card again that he's kind of in his head a little bit. But Maguire is the captain of that team. There needs to be some accountability. There really does. Like Faz was saying on the show last night, Sabitzer got bodied. His head's got massively hurt. And yet I see no fight on any of our players to go and put in a really crunching tackle onto Sevilla. Apart from Anthony, that is it. That is it. Show a bit of fight, show something. Sevilla would have done anything to win that game. Didn't look like we were willing to do anything. How many second balls did we win? It's just, it's frustrating. And it all starts from the leadership that's on that pitch. And, if it was anybody else who was captain on that pitch, I'd be saying the same thing. If Bruno was captain last night and that's the way we were, I would have said, Bruno, as a captain, you should have been better. But it rarely happens when Bruno's captain. I know people can talk about the 7-0 at Liverpool, and there has been performances, but as a captain, you really have to step up in them situations and rally the troops and get everyone together and say, you know what, we're Man United. We're not doing this again this season. We're not. We're going to go on. We're going to win this game. We're going to score a goal, and we're going to go through in this competition. Everyone stay calm. Just play football like the way we know we can. Follow what we've been learning off the manager, and let's go and beat Sevilla. Let's do it. Let's do it for the first time in Europa League history. Let's beat Sevilla. But it just didn't seem like it was that kind of attitude. Mahid Sabir says, as soon as nothing to prove statement was out, I understood he has an ego with nothing to show for it. We don't need that at our club. Paul Woolley says, Harry Maguire, I'm not going to read that one out. Emily Derry says, there are so many problems to solve in the summer. We may not have the funds, competence or the time to bring in a new keeper as well as other targets. Yeah, keeper is... I get what you mean with that. I honestly do, because I've actually got a list here of how many positions we need to go for in the summer, and even though I know we need another goalkeeper, I know that, and I know a lot of people know that as well. Erik ten Hag will know that. He will. Whether it happens this summer or next summer, De Gea won't be the long-term goalkeeper under Ten Hag. We need a new goalkeeper, but I also agree with people's points. There's so many areas in this team that need fixing. They are, and that's why I think even if it's not this summer, it might have to be next summer, because there are so many different areas. I don't think De Gea should be long-term keeper, but even I can say, striker and midfielder are priorities right now. Even I can kind of come to that conclusion. Mini19 says Maguire has already proved himself last night that he's one of the worst defenders, horrible in Manchester United history. Yes, he is right. No need to prove himself anymore. This is what I mean. If you're going to come out and you're going to, you're going to come out and make these statements, you really do have to back it up. You do. It's like, do you reckon you'd see Martinez or Varane coming out saying, I've proved myself at the top level, I've won a World Cup, don't need to prove myself anymore? Just wouldn't happen, because they just don't have that mentality. And with Man United, you're expected to play well every single week. Every single week, no matter what the opposition, you expect a performance. Too many of these players there's a performance, drop off. Performance, drop off. We need consistent performers in this team, we really do. And yeah, a lot of people talking about the open heart surgery that Rangnick was saying. And this is what I mean. I don't want to be completely negative, because I love Erik ten Hag, and I no, by no means blame Erik ten Hag for what happened last night, because I don't think he had many other options apart from to do what he did. When you looked at the bench, there was barely anything on it. Our injuries are really, really hurting us right now, and it's tough. It's really, really tough. But when I look at Erik ten Hag and what he's done to this team this season, it has been brilliant. Like, he has massively improved us. You can see the improvement. We've won a Carabao Cup. We're comfortably in the top 4 right now. There has been a huge improvement, and this team, a lot of us, well, everyone I would assume, are all behind them massively. We feel that connection with them. When I look at Man United's full first team with everybody fit, I look at that team, I think that is a really good standard of team. We're behind the team. There's certain individuals that have been brilliant this season. A lot of them have. But what we do need to address is we're still prone to these embarrassments, these away embarrassments, and we're still prone to this mentality where a little bit of adversity and the bottle goes. And it needs to be addressed. It really does. We need a squad. We don't need a starting 11. We need a squad, and we do need to address it. We do need to address it. But we'll carry on moving forward with it. Before I move on to Martial, I do just want to kind of bring up this in this part of the show. And again, like you said, it's all about opinions. You get yours in, and I'm going to say mine. Since the start of last season, no Premier League player has made more errors leading to an opposition goal in all competitions than David De Gea. Like I said, in Barcelona away, at the Nou Camp, if anyone remembers, he passed it straight out to Barcelona. They nearly scored. Thank God, was it Casemiro that recovered it? Made a tremendous block from some awful distribution that David De Gea put out. So, you know, people say, oh, it's a one-off game, Beth. It's not. It's not a one-off game. It's really not a one-off game. And that's kind of what I wanted to kind of bring in here. We need to get a modern keeper in if we want to move to the next level. We really, really do. There's, you know, I do think he is a legend of this club. I really do. And I'm so thankful for the times that he has saved us in certain games. And I mean, after Ferguson left and we had that period where we were really, really bad and he was winning Player of the Year, he really was Player of the Year. He was brilliant. He was. And I would never shirk away from that. He's a brilliant shot stopper. He is. And there's been some brilliant times with David De Gea in goal. But the point is now, where we're at, you need to know when it's time to say thank you very much, but we need to move on. That's what we need to do. And that's what, in the modern game, you need someone who can collect crosses. You need someone who can control the ball with the feet. You need someone who can pass out from the back. You need someone who is going to stand in their goal and be accounted for and be a really strong leader from the back. So that is kind of what I wanted to say on that, wrapping up the little De Gea segment on the show. And it's not one of them situations where I want to be proved right, but we'll see how it happens with Erik ten Hag. We'll see how it happens. I want to actually get a poll in the chat saying whether we think we do need a new goalkeeper next season. Let's get a poll in the chat, actually, asking the chat whether we do think we need a new goalkeeper. And while we do that, I've actually just been sent a little stat from Charlie, the producer here. David De Gea's stats among goalkeepers for this season in the Premier League. Goals conceded, 1.23, Premier League rank 7th. Obviously, goals conceded, yes, he is obviously part of that, but have had some thrashings this season that kind of do take that out of account for. And then expected goals on target conceded, 1.13, which is 8th rank in the Premier League. Passing accuracy, 69.58, ranking 12th in the Premier League, bottom half of the Premier League table. Touches, 18th rank in the Premier League table. And keeper sweeper regains, 0.33, bottom of the league. Literally rock bottom of the league in the Premier League. Yeah, people tell me he's the best goalkeeper in the world. But yeah, it is a modern goalkeeper. He needs moving on. Shot stopping, excellent. All-round game, he needs moving on, people. He does. He really, really does. Even Mark, I was having a conversation with Mark this morning about it, and you know he's De Gea's biggest fan. And even he was saying to me, like, he wasn't agreeing, but he was understanding my point, massively understanding my point. And the poll is in the chat below, and I'm going to have my vote. But what I do want to bring up is what I really, really don't like. and we do need to kind of move on from this segment. I don't want it to be a De Gea show, but what I really don't like is when you're having a consistent opinion which I've had. You guys know it. I've been absolutely ridiculed time and time again. So many people in the chat have said, you know, sack Beth. Beth knows nothing about this De Gea thing. Me and Mark have kind of had this ongoing battle with it. And what I really dislike is the word agenda. I really don't like it. And Mark's even been guilty of throwing it around at me sometimes. And it's not true. Agenda is thrown around so much when you just don't like what someone's saying in their opinion about your player. I have no agenda towards David De Gea whatsoever. I really don't. I want him to do well. I really, really wish he could have the aspects of the game that we need to move forward. But the facts are there. The stats are there. And people tell me they want to ignore stats. I've just read you some out. Most errors leading to goals out of all players in the Premier League. Your eyes are there. Seeing it last night. For me personally, all 3 goals, they weren't all completely on him. But he was involved in all 3 of them. He was involved in all 3 of them and could have prevented all 3 of them. And, you know, it's not an agenda. It's just me having a consistent opinion. And that's really, really why I don't like the word agenda, because it's not true. Does Mark have an agenda against Harry Maguire because he thinks he's rubbish and says it most weeks? No, it's a fact. Maguire is rubbish. Like, you know, you watch him play football and he isn't, and he's not good enough to play for United. So, you know, it would be an agenda if I was consistently calling out David De Gea when he was playing well every week. It's not. I only call it out when he plays poorly. And it's been too many times for me, to be honest with you. It's been too many times for me. Anyway, let's see what the poll is saying. 1,400 votes, 53% yes and 47% no. I am shocked. I expected to be a landslide of no, because usually this chat is very swayed towards, you know, pro De Gea. But wow, 53% yes. I don't know if it's just because we're off the back of a poor performance, but like I said, I'm not one of them people that just switches when it is a poor performance from this. I've been very consistent with this opinion. But yeah, interesting, 54% now. I honestly think David De Gea will get a new goalkeeper in, but time will tell. Time will definitely tell. Yeah, Beth winning them over. I said people will see the light eventually. And how are people saying no after the poll after last night's game? Seriously? Because people think he was only at fault for their 3rd goal. First goal, 50-50. Second goal, he gets lobbed on his own goal line. 3rd goal, yeah, I mean, Jesus, I could have trapped the ball better than that, if I'm being honest with you. Everyone can make a mistake, by the way. Everyone can make a mistake, and goalkeepers can make mistakes. I'm sure if we get a new goalkeeper in, he'll make mistakes. Everyone can make a mistake. It's just, it's consistent with David De Gea that he's not good at these certain aspects. And I feel for him a little bit, because you can see in his press conferences, he's really trying. He's really trying to be good at it. But sometimes, you know, you've got to kind of look and think, where's the next level at here? But anyway, we'll move on from this conversation. But I mean, I might take a picture of that poll, honestly, just to kind of send it to Mark and show him, because he was sending me voice notes on last night's watch along, and I need to show him that poll. But it's about opinion at the end of the day. 54% yes, 46% no. Anyway, let's move on to Anthony Martial. He is injured. We don't know if he's going to be injured for the Brighton game. We don't know how long this injury is. There is a press conference coming today at 5 p.m, which we'll be covering on the United Stand. There is a press conference coming for that. Martial, again, in the thumbnail, I've said multiple times, I love Anthony Martial. I think he's a brilliant football player. I would love to keep him if he was fit all of the time. I think he's the glue often up front. I think everybody plays better around him. But this injury thing is just becoming, honestly, unbearable. And I feel so sorry for him. And I've heard a lot of people say he should keep himself more fit, other comments like that. And, you know, we don't know what the player's doing behind closed doors. He could be doing everything to keep himself fit. He's just massively injury prone. He spoke out about Ollie playing in through injury and how that's affected his body. But yesterday, have you seen how unlucky he was? Maguire tumbles into Sabitzer, who then falls onto Martial's ankle and foot. I mean, how unlucky do you have to be? It was our players that injured him. It was our players that injured him, and it was so unlucky. And of course, it just had to be Martial, and I feel sorry for him. I really do. Because he managed to keep himself fit for longer than what I expected, to be honest with you. I think it's been 2 games now. And now again, injured. And honestly, if this does keep happening, even though last night, he couldn't do anything about that, but even last night, if he's injured now for like another 3 or 4 games, in the summer, I love Anthony Martial and I think he's a quality player, but even I would have to say we've got to look to get rid of him. We can't keep a player on 250 grand a week that just isn't playing football for us, no matter how good they are. And it's sad because I really wanted to see Martial and Rashford on the pitch together last night. I really did. But as soon as Rashford comes on the pitch, Martial's injured. It's just so frustrating. We can't get them on the pitch together, and it's a big issue. And this is why, when I move on to positions that we need to get in the summer, I think 2 strikers. I think we actually need to go and get 2 strikers. I've said it for a while, and I've said it as kind of a little bit of a pipe dream, because I do think United will only sign 1, but it's becoming very, very real now that we need 2 strikers. We really do, especially if Martial can't stay fit. It's massively important. Rashford off the left is obviously the best option. Weghorst is going to go back to either Burnley or Besiktas or anywhere else other than Manchester United, hopefully. And we need 2 strikers, because we can't just rely on 1 that we buy in the summer. We need 2. So again, that takes up even more of the transfer budget. But yeah, Martial is becoming the next Phil Jones, Wesley says. I feel sorry for him. He's got so much talent, just can't stay fit. I really hope he's there for Brighton, because we need him. We're so reliant on him, but time will tell. I'm not confident, because we know when Martial gets injured, it's usually quite a long time out, but we'll have to wait and see. The only good thing about it is we saw him hobbling yesterday, but he looked like he was walking okay. But I don't think Ten Hag will risk him at Brighton, because, you know, I was thinking about it. Obviously, it's Friday today. They're going to travel home this morning. Eric Ten Hag's got the Carrington presser later at 5 p.m. Saturday, they're going to be travelling down to London. Decision needs to be made tonight on Martial. I don't think he's going to be available, but we'll have to wait and see. And yes, Aldrich says, you just don't like De Gea. Nothing personal, but yeah, as a goalkeeper, I think we can improve. I've said that multiple times, but thank you for the super chats. Anyway, let's move on a little bit. But Martial going to be unavailable. Would you sell Martial? Would you sell Martial? Get in the comments down below. I'm at the point, I love him to bits, but we can't carry on with a player that isn't fit. And the poll right now on does Man United need a new goalkeeper is 55% yes, 45% no. Anyway, speaking of getting 2 strikers in, there is a little bit of news coming from the Daily Mirror regarding Hojlund. And the news is regarding Hojlund. Let me see. Manchester United appear to have taken the lead to sign Atalanta striker Rasmus Hojlund this summer, after Karim Benzema has committed to a new contract at Real Madrid. So Manchester United have appeared to have taken the lead to sign Atalanta striker Hojlund this summer, with Real Madrid committing to Karim Benzema. I mean, we've spoke a little bit about Hojlund. I actually filmed a video yesterday around Hojlund and the way he likes to play. What are people's feelings around Hojlund? Because I've said multiple times is I would like to get Hojlund and another striker. So say if we went and got an Osimhen or a Kane, I would like to get Hojlund as well as that, because he looks so young. Well, he is so young. He looks like he's got so much potential, but it's just, in my opinion, it's not the right thing to do to bring in a 20-year-old striker that is only kind of just learning his trade and establish himself in Atalanta's team and expect him to lead the line and be consistent for Man United in a really crucial season for us next season, playing in the Champions League. And he's going to have to play nearly enough every game, because we don't really have any other options. So Hojlund coming, absolutely love the idea of that signing. I think he's young. I think he's got heaps of potential, heaps of potential. He's a multifunctional striker. He's got a quick turn of pace. His finishing is excellent. His link-up play is good. But we need somebody else as well. We need Harry Kane or an Osimhen as well as that. Sean Morin says, Martial, football is a contact sport and the lad is made of glass. Time to go. A lot of people sell him on 250 grand a week. Hojlund is a great shout to me, says Ross Bodes, and we need a young striker and a Kane, says Shane Considine. And a lot of people saying, what about Hojlund and Ferguson? Again, you'd have to pick just one of them, because Ferguson for me is in the same boat. Young, heaps of potential, would love to go and get him, but it's too much pressure to put on him to come into Manchester United and lead the line for us. He's been doing it in the Premier League, and I think he's very capable, but he's too much pressure. You need someone who's established themselves. I mean, Harry Kane, we scored 20 plus goals, 6 seasons running in the Premier League. Osimhen, he's going to win Serie A with Napoli. He's had a brilliant Champions League campaign. 24 years old, played in the Bundesliga, been around the block a little bit, is established himself. These are players that are going to come in and be able to score goals straight away for Man United, and they're going to be able to take the pressure. Hojlund and Ferguson need to be worked into the team. They need to be coached by Erik ten Hag. They need to be working with Benny McCarthy. They need to be given minutes here and there. They will get games. They will 100% get games. But it can't just be all on them. A striker is such an important position for Man United, which is one of the reasons we're struggling so much right now. We don't have a good enough striker right now to play every single game for us, and it's such a crucial position. We need to get the recruitment spot on with this one, and that's why I would bring them in as well as another striker. I really, really would. I mean, look at City. They have Haaland, and then Alvarez is brilliant as well. And he gets game time here and there. He's young, he's learning his trade. That's what you need. You need a very, very good squad depth. Dull Delete says, has the United stand been told not to be savage on Maguire? He deserves negativity, Beth. No, we've not, and we would never shirk opinions at all. I spoke about Maguire towards the start of the show. I spoke about him quite a bit, actually. I mean, we speak about Maguire a lot on here, but we spoke about him now, so we're going to move on. We know he's not good enough to play for Man United. We know he needs to go in the summer. What I have seen, though, is a lot of people saying, you know, Lindelof as well needs to go. Him and Maguire both aren't good enough. I agree, Lindelof isn't good enough to be a first choice centre-back. But what I don't like is Lindelof being put under the same umbrella as Maguire. Lindelof isn't an aggressive tackler. He does look weak at times. To me, he doesn't seem like the type of player that's going to, you know, stand up and be that passion leader that that Varane and Martinez are. But he's a very decent centre-back that can be a rotational centre-back for us. And yesterday, I don't think he really did much wrong, to be honest with you. I think a lot of the other players let us down other than Lindelof. So I don't like him being put under the same bracket as him, to be honest with you. But yeah, anyway, let's move on to something else I did want to bring up. And it is last night, pass percentage by Casemiro, Eriksen, Sabitzer. Casemiro 67.6%, Eriksen 86.2%, Sabitzer 54.5% in the midfield three last night. Which, again, 54.5% from Sabitzer is just awful, isn't it, really? He didn't have a good game. But like I said, so many players didn't. And Manchester United, without Bruno Fernandes this season, Real Sociedad 1-0 loss. Aston Villa 3-1 loss. Charlton 3-0 win, which, come on, it's Charlton. Sevilla 3-0 loss. He's so important. He's so important. So important. Anyone who can't see it, for me, I can't understand it, can't get my head around it. He is a leader, he's creative, he stands up and be counted for, he's aggressive, he does the yards. He's everything you'd want in a midfielder. And we miss him massively, and Erik ten Hag knows that. He knows he's the most important player. It's why he praises him constantly in the press. But, you know, we can't be a team that relies on one person. We need to be able to play games of football without Bruno and win them. And at a high level, we need to be. Like, De Bruyne is unbelievable for City, and he's so important to that City team. But can Man City win games without De Bruyne in the team? Yes, of course they can. They can. And that's what we need to be. We need to be like. We really do. And I know we had multiple people missing last night, but again, it's about squad depth. City could have Diaz, Stones, De Bruyne, Haaland, all of the team, and replaced, and they'd still win big games. That's what we need to. We need a squad that is capable, and it's going to take time because we need money, and for that we need new owners, and for that it's just a long process. But there's a lot of things that need changing, and like Rannick said, open heart surgery, and he's absolutely right. Honestly, there's a first team there that's really, really capable, really capable. Varane and Martinez, unbelievable players. They are the starting centre-back. For me, I know it right back. Erik ten Hag is potentially looking at a new right back. I'm very happy with Wan-Bissaka and Dalot, if I'm being honest. I personally wouldn't be going for a new right back, but Erik ten Hag might want that. Left back, I think we're very assured in that area. Centre defensive midfield, Casemiro's been absolutely unbelievable for us, an unbelievable signing. But when he doesn't play, the way we play football drops off a cliff, and we massively miss him. We don't have anyone who can do that role. We need someone who can do the Casemiro role. We need a squad. So we need another central defensive midfielder. When you look at the other midfielders, Eriksen's brilliant, but maybe not in big away ties where he's going to have to be more physical. He suits certain sort of games. Bruno Fernandes is undroppable and is unbelievable for us, but we need to be able to play games of football without Bruno Fernandes. He needs some sort of competition. So we do need another centre midfielder. Without a doubt, we need another centre midfielder to come into the team. You look across the front three, you've got Sancho, who isn't performing at all. You've got Anthony, who I think he's got so much potential and definitely is a Man United player. And you've got Rashford, who obviously is always going to be part of that first team. Garnacho, I think for the wingers, we're definitely sorted. And I don't know how many times I can keep saying there's a player in Sancho. At the moment, he's just really not turning up. I am really getting worried. But we're massively in need of two strikers. Martial isn't fit. Weghorst isn't good enough. We need two strikers. And then I talk about the goalkeeper. We need a modern goalkeeper that can play the way Erik ten Hag wants to play. There's a lot. And then, I forgot about this. Centre-backs. We need another centre-back, ideally, because Maguire and Lindelof are probably both going to go. I think Lindelof's good enough to be a rotational centre-back. Luke Shaw's good enough to definitely fill in at left-sided centre-back. But realistically, we probably do need another centre-back as well. So there, I've talked about a CDM, a centre midfielder, a centre-back, a goalkeeper, two strikers. I'm on 6 players already. And potentially Erik ten Hag might want a right-back. That's 7 players. There's going to need to be a lot of outgoings, and we need to be really prioritising certain positions this summer. And we need to get rid of players that aren't good enough. It is crucial. I'm Matt Redknot says, why no Fred these days? I got told he was carrying a little bit of an injury, but I'm not sure how how true that is. Maybe Erik ten Hag just isn't fancying him right now and doesn't trust him. I'm not sure. I do think Fred should be getting more time on the pitch, if I'm being honest with you. Jack Heath says, sorted. We only have Anthony and Rashi. Well, we have Anthony, we have Rashford, we have Garnacho, we have Ahmad coming back from loan, and I think Ahmad's definitely going to get a run as part of the squad next season. I expect Ahmad to be well and truly part of that first team after the successful season he's had at Sunderland. So you've got 4 there, and Sancho has to start performing. £73 million, he has to start performing. This is a player that had more goals and assists out of any player in Europe. At one point when he's playing at Dortmund, he has to perform. With Sancho, I know he's got the ability. The problem is, it just seems like he's got no backbone at the moment. It really does, and it's disappointing. If I'm Ten Hag, I'm saying, this is what it takes to play for Man United. I'm showing him Giggs and Beckham running that wing, up and down, up and down, up and down, with all of the skill and talent they had. They got back, they got forward. I'm like, this is what it takes. I'm showing them clips of past Man United wingers that used to run the socks off. I'm getting Sancho in a room saying, and I'm comparing him, saying, this was you against Sociedad. Sorry, not against Sociedad, against Sevilla. Letting your defender run all the way back and you jogging after him. This was past Man United wingers that were part of some of the best teams that have ever played. This is Ronaldo when he was the best winger in the world, and he would get back as well. This is what you have to do to play for this club. This is the aggression you have to have. If you're not willing to put in the work, then maybe we might have to look at a solution here. But this is what I'm going to need from you. That's what I would be doing if I was Erik ten Hag, honestly. Because, you know, I've just seen a chat there. I think Sancho is suffering with his head, and I think he needs an arm around his shoulder from the boss. Yeah, and obviously, I think Erik ten Hag handled whatever happened with the kind of mental side with Sancho brilliantly, and he has put an arm around Sancho's shoulder. He's given him multiple chances, and I completely understand about dealing with different players differently, considering, you know, of their mental situation. But it's nothing to do with confidence, running back and defending your side of the pitch. It's nothing to do with confidence. It's desire and hunger. That is desire and hunger. Leon says Sancho just needs more time. I believe in him. I would give him next season. I'm being patient with him, but I'm patient with him going forward. I am. But what I can't accept is not running back. I can't accept it because it's not about talent. That it's about hunger. It's about desire. It is. That's what I can't accept, and that's what really annoyed me. I've defended Sancho multiple times on shows before. I can't defend not being a warrior. on the pitch. I can't defend it because you have to be. You have to be. Like Rashford, even when he came on the pitch, he's running, he's hunting players down, he's aggressive. That's Rashford, you know. And Rashford didn't used to be like that. He's really developed that under Ten Hag, and I'm loving it. You've got to fight for the shirt. You've got to fight for everything, and I just don't see that in Sancho. I don't see that in a few players, to be honest with you. But Sancho kind of really did stand out last night for that. And anyway, let's go through a couple of Erik Ten Hag quotes before they wrap up the show, because they were really, really interesting to see. Yeah, Rick says Pellistri is someone I would like to see get more game time. I really would. But it looks like he's probably going to go out on loan. But let's just see what happens. I would like to see Pellistri get more game time, but we'll have to wait and see. Ten Hag said, bad decisions, and also we lose the battles. They had more passion, more desire, more willingness. For example, the second goal, then it's difficult to win big football games. If my manager is calling me out for the other team to have more passion, more desire, and more willingness, I am so annoyed. So annoyed. I'm either annoyed at myself because I've not taken accountability for, you know, as a team member being on the pitch, and I've not done everything I can, or I'm really annoyed at the players around me for letting me down and for not showing up. It's one of the two, because there is certain players that did show up, but there's certain players that really didn't, and that would frustrate me. If I'm Bruno, Varane and Martinez at home, I'm honestly so frustrated with the players on that pitch for not. If the manager's coming out afterwards and saying, even he's saying they had more passion, they had more desire, that is horrendous as a United player. How has Sevilla got more passion and desire than you have? You're playing for Man United. Honestly, it's one of the worst things that can be said about you. That it really is. It's one of the worst things, and he's right. I mean, we were supposed to have Maguire in there for aerial duels. Every cross that's coming into the box, we're getting beat every time. It's not all of Maguire. But why are we getting shoved off the ball? Why are we getting out-muscled? Why are we not putting a crunching tackle in when we're getting bullied? It's embarrassing. Ten Hag, if you still trust the players, yes, because we showed on so many occasions good performances and good wins, but tonight, and some occasions more, we are not ready for the game, and that can't be. Ten Hag's he knows there's a mentality issue to sort out. He 100% knows that there is, and I'm excited to see the way he goes about it this summer. I really hope he gets rid of players that need to go. Ten Hag said, it's not about the players that are missing, it's about the players who are on the pitch. They have to perform. I believe in them, trust them, and they have to show that. Today, we are not good enough. And he then talks about the opportunity that they had. He said, it was a huge opportunity and it's gone. We can't change it anymore, and we have to look forward to Sunday because that is the next opportunity. When you're at this level and playing for Manchester United, you have to be ready for every game. Yeah, I think Erik Ten Hag says it how it is. Says it how it is in that situation. It's just not good enough. You, as a manager, to come out and say your players didn't have the passion or desire to play for Man United it is poor. And you know what? The most frustrating part about it is you're in a quarter-final of Europa League. There's a lot on the line here. There could have been another European trophy. You don't have the bottle to show up to get into the semi-finals of a European trophy. You're not a Man United player if you don't have the bottle for that. You're not. You're just not. And the disappointing thing is, it's not the first time it's happened either. Liverpool, Luke Shaw called it out. City, it was called out then. There's been times it's been called out a few times this season. It has. And it's just not good enough. And there's got to be something. Something is happening. And it's not just happened under Ten Hag either. It's happened under multiple managers. It's happened under Ole. It's happened under Rangnick. It goes back further than that. There's something in that club where this does happen. And maybe it's the personnel. And there's certain characters there that need to be changed. When we brought in Varane, Martinez, Casemiro, Anthony, even Molassi's got the hunger. We brought in certain players with that mentality. It has made a difference, but we're still not quite there yet. We still have some players that just don't have it up here that we need to get rid of, definitely. But some good news to end the show on, because I do feel like, I've been ranting a little bit this morning, but I had to because I'm really annoyed about that performance. You know what? When Man United and the players turn up and they put in a really good shift and they give everything, I will praise them to no end. I really will. But last night, on a build-up of other away performances, just wasn't good enough. And for me, it was on par with like the Liverpool, the City, the Brentfords. It was on par with that because we got torn to shreds. We were embarrassing. We really were. Even my mum, right? And my mum's not into football the way I am. Like, she watches it and stuff because all of my family are into it. Obviously, my brothers, my dad, my stepdad, and all that. Like, she watches it. She watches the games. And obviously, I was here. I was doing the fan forum. Was watching the game with the gang last night. And she even messages me saying, "All I can say is shocking." She even knows it. She called out a couple people before, honestly. And it's obvious to see. It's obvious to see. She agreed with me this morning when I was having a little chat with her about it. I said, "God, can you believe that?" And she said, "It just didn't look like some of them were bothered." And I said, even she can see it. She doesn't watch football week in, week out. So it's just not good enough. Anyway, and plus, we shouldn't be praising one-off performances. We should be praising consistent greatness at Man United. And there's certain players that do come into that category. Rashford's shown up all season, brilliant. Bruno showed up all season. Varane, Martinez, Casemiro. These certain players have really showed up all season. They deserve credit. But we need some personnel change in the squad. A squad needs building. And this is why when Ricky told me we have a good squad, I could not wrap my head around it. But then again, he told me Bruno wasn't very important. So, anyway, Garnacho should return to first team training on the 1st of May. I think that is a really, really amazing bit of news for us. I doubt he's going to go to the Under-20s World Cup that he's been touted to go to. He shouldn't go to it. Ten Hag should say no. He's vitally important for us in the second half of the season. He is, after, obviously the starting wingers are Rashford and Anthony, but after that he's the first one off the bench. He's a brilliant impact sub. He's made the most goal contributions as a sub in the Premier League this season. 18 years old, serious talent. I think we've missed him. In big games. A really good goal threat. So I'm happy that he's coming back, and without a doubt, he should. I don't think he should be going to the Argentina World Cup. I think he should be the Under-20s World Cup. I think he should be with Man United, seeing out the rest of the season, keeping going to establish himself in the first team, which he has done. And we've got to solidify top 4. And if we get through against Brighton on Sunday, we'll have an FA Cup final to play for. So it's really important that Garnacho is in the team, in my opinion. So, and I can't wait for him to be back. Really, really exciting player. Really exciting player that I'm excited to see. But look, we have Brighton on Sunday. To end the show on the positive note, I've had so many people messaging me saying, "Beth, we're going to get thrashed, we're going to get beat." And that is a possibility. If we turn up the way we did last night, without a doubt, Brighton tear us apart. But we're at Wembley, so it's not an away game, thank God. It's 50-50. Brighton are going to have half the fans we have. We're going to have our fans there. I will be at the game. If any of you are there, drop me a message or a DM or something, like maybe come and see us outside the stadium. I'm going to be there, but I think Ten Hag's going to give the hairdryer treatment on blast. I think the players, if they have anything about them, will want to come out and prove themselves wrong. We have seen bounce backs in the past this season. There shouldn't have to be a bounce back because we shouldn't get embarrassed every so often, but we have seen bounce backs, and I think we have what it takes to beat Brighton if we really, really, really do turn up. But there's a few contributing factors. Martial's fitness is a big one. If we have to start Weghorst, the goal threat instantly decreases. But we started Weghorst at Wembley against Newcastle and we still won that game, so there's still a possibility. Rashford's going to be back, and he seems fit, and I thought he looked actually pretty sharp when he came on last night. Luke Shaw gave the nod and said he's fit enough to play, so that's brilliant because we're going to have a centre-back partnership of Lindelof and Shaw, and we're not going to have to move a midfielder into the centre-back role. Wan-Bissaka against Matoma is going to be a big one. I hope he starts. He's going to have to lock down Matoma. Didn't have the best game Wan-Bissaka last night, but again, neither did anyone. So that's an important battle on the pitch. And Man United, Casemiro's got to show up. And also, we've got Bruno Fernandes back, which is probably one of the most important things. And Bruno Fernandes is going to be able to captain the side. Maguire's not going to be there. And that's what gives me hope on this game. Brighton are an excellent footballing team that have done brilliantly this season. I love watching him, if I'm being honest. I love watching him. But we've got Bruno Fernandes back. We've got key players back. We are going to have to make do in certain areas of the pitch. But if Man United turn up against Brighton at Wembley, I do think we win that game. It's going to be hard. It's going to be tough. We're definitely not going to go there and have an easy ride. But I do think we will win that game. And who knows what will then end up happening against City in the final if we get there. But get in the comments down below what you think is going to happen at the Brighton game on Sunday. Are you confident? Are you ready to get back up, pick yourself up and go again? That's what we're going to have to do at the end of the day. And lastly, a little chat in from Pauline Brooks saying, thanks for the show, Beth. The harsh truth hurts. Yeah, sometimes it does. Sometimes it does. But it is what it is. We've got to put that performance against Sevilla behind us. I just kind of want to close a book on it here now for me. We spoke about it in the fan forum last night. We spoke about it this morning. We know what needs to be done and we've got to do it at the end of the day. There's no transfer window now. There's no opportunities to get rid of players and bring in new players now. And I'm not talking about the first team here. I'm talking about squad players that we can't rely on. We've got to get behind the players. We've got to keep pushing. And towards the end of the season, we'll see what is going to happen in the summer. New ownership is key. Ten Hag's going to have a clear out this summer. Absolutely. It's going to take time. Rome wasn't built in a day, everyone. But I feel like if Erik Ten Hag is actually backed and he has transfer windows and he's able to keep developing this team, we're going to be absolutely fine. And I trust Erik Ten Hag to keep going with this team. Hopefully going to have Champions League football next year. There's so much to be positive about this season. There's been a few really low points, like last night, like the Liverpool game, like certain points this season. There's been some real low points in there. But overall, Erik Ten Hag has done brilliantly this season. And there's certain things that need to be changed, absolutely. But this will happen in time, and we've just got to hope. Against Brighton, we have enough of what it takes to show up on the pitch, be accounted for, and go and win the game. But thank you, everyone, for watching the show. Thank you for getting involved, getting all your opinions in, and thank you for all the super chats as well. We really do appreciate it. But make sure you hit a like on the video on the way out. Don't let the game get you down. Let's go into the weekend now positive, backing Man United to win at the weekend. I'm going to go with 2-1 United, very edgy game. Get in the comments down below what you think, and we'll see you on the next one. We'll be here with the presser at 5 p.m. Mark will be back for that. See you on the next one, everyone.